You're listening to an AINC original podcast. We believe you don't have to do life without a compass. Let us be your guide on this amazing journey. Welcome to Navigating Life with Vision Loss. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Navigating Life with Vision Loss. My name is Jonathan Price. I'm the podcast producer here at Aftersight, and I'm so thankful that you are joining us again for this week. We are diving into part 2 with Chris Peterson from Penny Forward. And if you missed it, go back and listen to week 1 as we talk about personal finance, learning how to bank, get your finances in order. And I really hope you enjoy this part 2 episode. We're going to have a lot of fun with finance. And so take notes, grab a pen, grab your favorite cup of coffee, and we'll dive right into it.
And for a person that is doing their first budget, and even if you've tried to do budgets before and have struggled with it, where do you suggest people begin with creating a budget?
I suggest that people look at their bank statements or their bank transactions, and you can do this any number of ways. If you're comfortable with technology, doing it online is probably the simplest way, but you can also do it by using your bank by phone system or even by getting Braille statements from the bank. But sit down and look at where your money went for the last month. Mm-hmm. And particularly make note of the bills that you know that you pay regularly. So you're going to pretty easily be able to recognize things like your rent or your mortgage, your utility bills, subscription services that you pay, your cell phone, your internet, things like this. Those are things that you're obligating yourself to pay because you subscribe to them or because you want to keep yourself and your family warm, or you want to keep the rain off of, or snow off of your head, etc. So, put those in, say, the top lines of your budget. And then start to look at some of those expenses that are a little bit more variable, things like groceries, entertainment, restaurants, and things like that. And put them into categories and do your best to figure out what you spend every month. Maybe starting with what you spent last month on groceries and shopping and entertainment and restaurants. And if last month isn't a good representative month of the way that things normally are in your life, and December probably isn't for most people because of the families.
Lots of extra spending.
Then go and pick another month. Or go and pick another 2 or 3 months if you can, and average those numbers out. Come up with a starting place, and then keep track of what you spend over the next few months and see how well it matches up with your budget. And you can always adjust the numbers in your budget up to match what you actually spend. And eventually you may find yourself trying to adjust your spending down to match the numbers that you've placed in your budget. It's all a long process that once you get into the habit of it, a lot of people really enjoy it, but it can take us sometimes 2-3 months of consistent effort to really get into the habit of something. And budgeting itself is not a one-size-fits-all process. So you may find that there are different techniques of budgeting that you try, and some of them work really well for you, and others don't work as well. Some people really like using apps for budgeting. Other people find it to be more trouble than it's worth to use apps, and they like to do it in a spreadsheet or a notebook or just anything that is accessible to you and understandable to you to help you understand what you've spent and how that compares to what you planned to spend, and then try to adjust those numbers to somehow meet in the middle over a 3-4 month period of time. And then remember that life changes. So just because you went off budget during the holidays doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It just means that you've got some room for improvement.
And how do you factor in things into your budget that aren't even annual necessarily expenses? Maybe, your refrigerator is kind of on its, last legs, and you're going to have to replace that. And you need to, put some money aside and have that. Does that become part of your budget, just a line item for things that you might need to purchase or replace or unexpected things?
It can become part of your budget in lots of different ways. Some people really appreciate programs that a lot of utility companies offer where they basically provide warranties or repair service on appliances. A lot of these things cost $80 to $100 a month. And some people say that that's money really well spent, and so they build it into their budget to pay for those programs. Other people will simply put that $80 to $100 a month into a savings account. Hopefully it's a high yield savings account like we talked about before. And when something happens, they'll pull money out of that savings account to pay for that expense. That can sometimes become what's kind of referred to as a revolving savings, where you're putting money into it all the time and you're taking money out of it some of the time, either for those less frequent expenses like your garbage bill. Like our garbage bill comes every 3 months, so I put money into savings. Then when we pay for the garbage bill, we pull the money out of savings to pay for the garbage bill every 3 months. But we also put more into savings so that if something like the refrigerator dies, we have some money in there that we can pull out of the savings too. And what we find is that by doing that, usually your savings grows, but not always. Sometimes you may find that hey, my refrigerator just died and I happen to have $1,000 in savings, and it turns out that a new refrigerator is going to cost me $1,000. Well, you could be thinking, well, shoot, I've just killed my entire savings. But I would rather you be thinking, well, isn't this great? I have the money to pay for a new refrigerator.
To pay for it.
Without having to go into debt to borrow money.
Right. Or use a credit card, any kind of debt. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Well, Chris, as folks are working on their budgets and things, and I think everyone is feeling a pinch with inflation and prices going up, what can we do to try to battle inflation a bit and still be able to save? I know sometimes that gets tough for folks as some of the expenses, and sometimes those non-negotiable expenses of rent or utilities, that some of those things you really do have to have go up. What advice can you give folks as they're trying to continue to budget and save and live in a good, healthy financial way? Yeah,
so I have a few different pieces of advice regarding inflation. The first is that it's good to pay yourself first by putting money into revolving savings. That way, if there is a non-negotiable expense that comes up, you have something set aside for it. Inflation really never lasts forever. Sometimes inflation is really bad, like it was in 2021 and 2022. In 2023, inflation was quite a bit slower than it was in 2022, and we expect it to be better in 2024. So the idea is really to get through some of that inflationary period, because things will get better. Another thing that you really should do, though, is shop around, because when prices go up, not all prices go up at the same time. Sometimes they do, but sometimes you can find a cheaper brand of milk or a cheaper brand of eggs or an alternative brand of laundry detergent or something like that can save you money on some of those semi-negotiable expenses. And that can help to redirect your money to the things that are most important to you. Is it really important to you to buy a specific brand of laundry detergent, or is it more important to you that your clothes get washed? So shopping around can really be helpful and can be very effective. And it can even be effective with things that feel non-negotiable, like our housing or our utilities. If you rent and your rent goes up, you may want to consider moving. A lot of us really dread the thought of moving for a lot of good reasons, but sometimes moving, even though it can feel scary and it can feel like a lot of effort, sometimes moving can end up landing you in a better place overall. So certainly even shopping around on things like housing can be very effective. Some utilities can save you money if you shop around. Cell phone bills, switching carriers can save you money. My cell phone cost me $30 a month because I switched to a lesser known carrier that charges that. And I really haven't missed anything. Internet. There are a lot of internet companies that are now offering, thanks to something called the Affordable Connectivity Program, there's a lot of internet companies that are offering $30 a month internet plans. I've even been seeing some $25 a month plans. And so being willing to switch some of those carriers can also help you save money. It's also worth asking yourself, do you need unlimited minutes for your cell phone, or could you live with something that's more limited? Could you live with slightly slower internet? And at least in the case of my family, the answer to both questions is we can live with a cheaper cell phone plan, and we also have been able to live with slower internet, and we still are able to watch streaming video. My kids are able to watch Netflix and Disney Plus and play games and do all the things that they do. And we hardly even miss the extra speed anymore. So all of that shopping around is a way to fight inflation as well. But I think that the savings is really the key, because sometimes there are expenses that are just plain non-negotiable, and by having savings for when those expenses fluctuate, that, like I said with the refrigerator before, it allows you to pay for those expenses without feeling bad about it or without feeling stressed about it, and then you go on saving when you can.
I wanted to come back to savings. You talked about the high yield accounts. As people are trying to save, there's different options to save. There's things like money markets, CDs. Could you speak to some of the other mechanisms for savings and maybe why you would want to choose one over another?
Sure. So this is a big topic, and I can only scratch the surface here, but
Sure.
CDs are certificates of deposit. They are also bank accounts. There's no risk to them. In some cases, you may earn higher interest from a CD than you would earn from even a high yield savings account. However, the trade-off is that by putting your money away in a CD, you may be required to keep it there for a period of time. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year. Some even go into the 4 or 5 year range. And if you're willing or able to keep your money locked up for that period of time, or you're able to find a CD that has no early withdrawal penalties or an early withdrawal penalty that you can live with, because sometimes even if there's a penalty, it may be worth paying in certain emergency cases, then a CD may be a good choice. A money market is a lot like a savings account. A lot of people think about it as an account that's kind of a combination between a checking and a savings account. Sometimes you can get checks from it. You can sometimes have a debit card, but you also earn high interest like you might from a savings account. And typically money market accounts are also kept in banks that are insured, so there's no risk to your money there. They might require minimum balances. They might have other terms and conditions associated with them that you would want to check on that make money market accounts not appropriate for everybody. And then there are investment accounts. And investing is kind of like saving on steroids. You have the opportunity to earn quite a bit more interest in some cases than you do through a savings account. However, you also take the risk that the value of your investments may not be exactly what you thought they were going to be. They may not go up in a straight line. They may fluctuate up and down as they're going up. History shows us that investing is a really good way to grow your wealth, because even though investments do tend to fluctuate, they tend to go up more often than they go down. So some ways that we as blind people can invest our money are through ABLE accounts. ABLE accounts are something new. They just came on the scene in 2016. They allow us to put away larger amounts of savings, particularly if you are participating in something like SSI or Medicare or Medicaid, where your resources are limited. Putting money away in an ABLE account allows you to accumulate more resources than you otherwise could. But you also do get some investment options, depending on the ABLE account, that can allow you to grow those resources over time as well. But if an ABLE account isn't right for you, then maybe an individual retirement account might be, or you may have access to an employer-sponsored retirement plan like a 401k or a 403b. And those are all accounts where you can invest your money and watch it grow over long periods of time. And when I say long periods of time, I'm really talking about 10 years or even longer, sometimes decades, 30 or 40 years. And then finally, there's an account called a retail brokerage account. And this is an investment account that allows you to go in and buy stocks and bonds and other types of securities of your choice. Typically, you have the most options in a resource. Typically, you have the most options in a retail brokerage account. And you also have the least tax advantages in a retail brokerage account. So some people use them because they've made the most use they could out of all of their tax advantaged accounts, and they still want to invest. And some people use them just because they are the most flexible option out there, and they just want to see what investing is like. And I would direct you to pennyforward.com for much more detailed descriptions of all of those types of accounts.
Well, thank you, Chris, for going over those in some detail. I really, as you said, we can only scratch the surface on so many of these topics, but it does give people a sense of what they need to be aware of and what they're looking for. Do you have any general advice if somebody is looking to invest? I know there's so many investing mechanisms and investing firms of things to be looking for in a general sense if you're trying to find an investment firm to work with?
Yes. And I need to qualify this by saying this is not necessarily investment advice. This is for educational purposes only.
Right.
In general, there are some easy ways to invest in large swaths of the stock market or bond market. They won't be really high performing investments, but they won't underperform the market either. And many investment professionals recommend that you start with them while you are getting your bearings in the investment world. They are called index funds, and there are different variations of them, either mutual funds or exchange traded funds. At the point where you're starting, it probably doesn't matter which one you choose. But over time, as you learn more, you may choose to move your money at least partially out of some of those index funds and into other investments if you hope to have higher investment performance. And advisors can help you to try to do that. Although advisors are just that. They are not infallible. None of us can predict the future. What advisors can do is they can give you the benefit of their education and experience to try to make a better educated guess about what will happen in the future. The best advisors are certified financial planners. A certified financial planner needs to have passed an exam and also had a certain number of years of experience in the field. So that when you work with a certified financial planner, that it's somebody that really knows what they're doing. And there's a site called Smart Asset that can help you to find certified financial planners in your area. They have an online tool that's accessible that can help you to do that. And also FINRA, which is a government agency that regulates financial advisors, has a tool called Broker Check that allows you to check on an advisor before you decide to work with them to find out whether they've had any disciplinary action against them or any complaints or anything like that. And so if you do decide to work with an advisor, know that those tools are out there to help you to verify that the advisor that you decided to work with is on the up and up. And also remember that if an advisor isn't working for you, you can change. And there should be no hard feelings on the end of the advisor. And you shouldn't feel any guilt about changing. Sometimes you might decide to work with an advisor while you're getting started, and then as you learn more and become more familiar with the investing landscape, you may decide you want to do it yourself. And an advisor will understand that. Sometimes you may just not click very well with an advisor, and you may decide to go and work with somebody else. Advisors understand that too. And it is perfectly acceptable to switch advisors any number of times until you find the right one that is able to work with you in the way that works best for you.
Well, Chris, as I said, you've provided us so much information. I definitely want to direct folks to pennyforward.org if they want to find out more about your services. It sounds like that's the best way to reach you and find out more about the services you provide, advisors that you have that can help folks, and even a book club, just to be able to talk with other people about some of these issues can be so helpful.
Yeah, and I just wanted to correct you. It's pennyforward.com.
Oh, it is .com. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking nonprofit.org.
We are trying to get .org, but there's been some blockers. Somebody else had it. So, and we also have a toll-free phone number. You're welcome to call us. That's 1-888-332-5558.
And pennyforward.com. Yes. Any closing thoughts you have for folks?
We at Penny Forward are really working hard to expand our services and offerings this year. The book club is just one part of that, but we are also looking to do a lot more. You can read about that at pennyforward.com/strategy. And we would also love it if you would become involved. We are a nonprofit organization. We are built on donations and also on the work of volunteers. So if you have an interest in personal finance and would like to help to volunteer, to develop content, we would love to have you involved. If you would like to help volunteer to keep the organization healthy, we would love to have you be involved. And if you feel like we're doing a good thing and you're willing and able to send us a donation, we would appreciate that too. And I guess I would just also say, Kim, thank you for having me on again. I love coming on and am happy to do it anytime you ask.
Thanks so much. Well, we love having you, and you always have such great information and super updates for us. And I'm excited to see how Penny Forward is growing and your strategic plan and those things that you're really working on in 2024. So I encourage folks definitely to go to the website and check that out. This month is about finance, so we'll be bringing you more information about financial subtopics. And just thank everybody from our AfterSight team that makes this possible. So I hope that this information that we've shared with you today helps you navigate your life with vision loss.